What's good, Regis recipients? Before we get into the episode, I wanted to stop and thank you all for the continued support and love that you all have been showing on Regis Reflections. Currently, we have just posted our 20th episode on Regis Reflections. And I want to let you all know that we are not done. We are continuing to drop bangers week in and week out, no matter where we are in the world with so many different athletes. Now, before we get into the episode, I want to say a quick prayer for you all. So if you can, please bow your heads. Dear God, I come to you today. Thank you for waking me up and starting me on my way. Lord, I come to you today in prayer, asking you to look over the person on the other side of the screen, Lord. Please guide them and focus them and allow them to be the best person they can be, Lord. Please protect them from any sin or evil going on in the world, Lord. And please touch their hearts in any way, Lord. Please feel their emotions, their actions, their mindset, protecting them from sin and learning right from wrong, Lord. I also ask that any battles they're going through, mentally, physically, Lord, I ask that you're with them each and every step of the way. Please touch their hearts and allow them to know that you are with them every way, Lord, and that faith is the only way that's going to bring them closer, Lord. I hope this episode really helps them in any way possible to really speak out about their mental health in any way, Lord. We're getting the message out there that it's okay to not be okay. So please continue to watch over not only myself, but them, Lord, day in and day out. We love you and thank you for all that you've done. In Jesus' name, pray. Amen. Thank you all for that. And with that being said, enjoy the episode. Yeah. What's good, Regis recipients? How are y'all doing today? Let me know in the comment section. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Regis Reflections. Y'all already know each and every episode we have a different athlete on the podcast. And this week we got my dog, Liam Egan. Say what's up to the people, Liam.
What's up, guys? How's everyone doing?
Thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come and join us on this podcast. So I have to start off. What is your mental health on a scale of 1 to 10 right now?
Right now, probably like a 7. Like things are going well. Season's kicked off. It was a little slow start, but we got going, so we're on the come up for sure.
That's good. That's good to hear. Good 7, good 7, good balance, good balance. So, Regis recipients, Liam here is a member of the Notre Dame men's soccer team. And Liam, what position do you play?
I'm a goalkeeper.
Okay, so I have to ask off for the first question. Would you say goalkeeper is the hardest position to play in soccer from your perspective?
Yeah, I would. Just in terms of kind of difficulty, can't really be affording to make mistakes out there as a goalkeeper, because otherwise, you give up a goal.
That's true. That's true, man. You're the last line of defense, honestly. Like, people depend on you a lot. Wow. So, where are you originally from, Liam?
So I'm from Louisville, Kentucky.
So, would you say soccer is kind of popular out there in that area?
Not really. It's the South, so it's a big football area. So it's kind of soccer was not really a forethought for most of my life, for sure.
So who or what got you into the sport of soccer, and what age did you kind of start playing?
So I always played a little bit of football, and I always ran track and cross country, and I kind of realized I hated running a lot. And so all my buddies, like from the track team, had quit and started playing soccer, and I was like, all right, like I want to hang out with my buddies and I want to kind of be around them still, but I don't like running. So I was like, all right, goalkeeper doesn't run. I'm going to go play goalkeeper.
That's it. So what age did you start playing soccer?
I was pretty late. I was like 13, about starting in 8th grade. So
did you play on a middle school team, or did you do club at all? How was that practice or playing period for you?
Yeah, it was fun. I started out with kind of just like my middle school team, just kind of getting with my buddies, kind of playing with them every day. One of our friends' dads was the coach. Like, that was a good time. And then we kind of started to pick up club where we would kind of play together for some bits. And then we started to spread out a little bit to, guys wanted to have different goals, go to different teams.
So how was that experience for you playing club soccer and being a goalkeeper for club soccer as well?
I loved it. It was a great time. It was just enjoyable to kind of develop and like kind of watch myself grow, like kind of whether it was winning big tournaments with the fellas, like going out to, road trips out in Ohio, Tennessee, the South, like pretty much anywhere, just getting to spend that kind of time with my friends and like family to just get out and enjoy soccer, especially.
That's true. That's good. So what age or kind of what time period did you realize like soccer was your future, or like you were really good at soccer, or you had like a true love for the sport of soccer?
It was pretty quick for me. It was pretty much once I started playing like seriously, like pretty much once I started going in playing club, I
Mhm.
realized like this was a lot of fun. It was kind of something I could see myself doing for a long time and just really enjoying every single day.
That's right. That's right. So you ended up you played soccer, I assume, in high school as well, right?
I did, yes.
And could you just touch a little bit just how that experience was playing soccer in high school and if you continue to play club in high school as well?
Yeah, so I played a lot of kids in high school will go play at academy, but being from Kentucky, there's not a ton of soccer going on down there.
Mhm.
And so I played just regular club in high school. And it was kind of a similar situation where a lot of my friends from middle school, we all ended up the same high school team together. We all kind of just ended up continuing to play with each other
Mhm.
and like growing and just kind of getting to be better and like win games. And my high school coach actually was my same club coach for a couple of years. So that was a pretty unique experience where he would kind of tell me things in club season that would he'd be like, yeah, and this is going to apply to your high school season as well for sure.
Mhm. Wow, that's good. So you ended up finishing playing high school club and ended up in high school soccer and club soccer, and you ended up committing to University of Notre Dame. What was kind of like the background or the reasoning for you choosing to come to Notre Dame and play soccer?
Yeah, I kind of my mom went here. I've grown up a Notre Dame fan. I'm an Irish Catholic. I'm kind of from pretty close to Notre Dame. I've
Mhm.
gone to football games when I was a kid. Just kind of I've always been about Notre Dame. And like I've always thought like that's the dream. Like when I was running track or playing baseball when I was younger, I was like, I want to, play baseball or run track at Notre Dame. So for me, kind of like when the opportunity came to get to play here, it
Mhm.
was pretty much a no brainer. Like I pretty much left my visit here and I was like, all right, this is my home. This is where I want to be.
That's good. That's good. That's yeah. Hey, welcome home. Welcome home. So you ended up. What was the transition? Could you just touch a little bit on playing from high school in Louisville, Kentucky, and playing club to now being a D1 collegiate athlete to your first year at Notre Dame? How was that transition for you personally?
It was tough for sure. Like, I mean, I think I could speak for most athletes in college. Like, everyone's kind of king of their castle
Mhm.
when, you're down in high school, you're down playing club. Like, when I was down in Kentucky, like, I was kind of the man, and like, that was kind of how it was. And then you get up here, and it's like a rude awakening. You're like, all right, I'm no longer, I'm no longer him. Like, I'm kind of just another guy in this team, like, grinding to try to find a spot, try to find playing time. So it's
Mhm.
kind of like, it was definitely hard and required a lot of like mental resilience, just kind of to stay committed and stay like head down on the grindstone, ready to wake up every day and go at it.
Mhm. So you touched a little bit. So a lot of athletes, they kind of go through similar situations in high school, being the top, of their program, and they come to these D1 schools and they realize they're not the only ones that they were the top of their programs. So for you personally, like who did you lean on to kind of get you through that mental resilience, or what did you kind of do? I know you said you kind of worked hard, but could you touch a little bit more on like what you kind of did during your first year to pull you out of that since in a minute?
Yeah, for me, like I redshirted my freshman year. I kind of knew I wasn't going to play, so I kind of just took every single day with like a new level of intensity. Like, how could I, try to get better each day? Like, and as much as it sucked, like, kind of, I was getting the last reps. I was kind of getting the scraps that guys didn't want, but like kind of could I take every single rep like that, like it was just going to make me better, like I could kind of use it to my advantage. And also like I leaned on a lot of the other older guys that were here when I was a freshman.
Mhm.
Like I know a lot. Goalkeeper's a strange position because it's a one man place. There's not really, you don't really rotate goalkeepers middle of the game. So I was able to talk to some of the guys that had been through similar situations where, you get in, you're kind of the top dog back home, and then you get here and it's a totally different story, and you're kind of like a little bit of a rude awakening for your first semester.
Mhm.
So yeah, just like leaning on like older guys, like a couple in particular, like just the older goalkeepers that were ahead of me. They were
Mhm.
like, "Look, man, like this is how it is. Like you're kind of not ready yet, and you're not like adjusted yet. So just like kind of keep going. Don't really give up. Don't let it kind of break you down."
Mhm. Mhm. So was there any doubt going through your mind at all when you were like you said you were cleaning the scraps, being the last rep? Was there any doubt or any regret going through your mind during this period?
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of doubt. It was like, do I really belong here? It was like, is this really a place where I'm gonna fit in? And kind of like a lot of personal, like, kind of anger, because I was like, dang, like, you were the top dog back home. Like, what happened? Like,
Mhm.
kind of that sort of thing.
So when you kind of felt this, that you felt like you didn't belong, when or how did you feel like you belong at Notre Dame, but also on the Notre Dame men's soccer team? Was there a special moment, a game period, or just it kind of just built up over time?
I think it kind of just built up over time. Um, my team's been pretty successful throughout my time here, which has been awesome. But I think it just has been, getting experience with the guys, getting to know them, like getting out to, go get a meal together, go for a walk, go kind of do these different things that you can kind of grow and develop relationships with guys that could really be useful in terms of like helping you pull yourself out of a fire, and then like you can kind of go help them pull themselves out of the fire, just in terms of building up trust and belief in each other.
That's true. That's true. So, with being on the soccer team and being a D1 collegiate athlete, you're prone to traveling. You'll travel to other schools, other states, and so on, and you're used to traveling. But the D1 level is kind of different. And if you're not really a D1 athlete, a lot of people see athletes when they go to these other schools, they think it's the high life. They think you're out in the city, you're doing this and that. They don't know it's really a business trip at the end of the day. So could you just touch a little bit on the traveling aspect, traveling with the soccer team, like doing homework on the road and everything like that, and game days and everything?
Yeah, so I'm engineering, so I'm pretty busy academically, and it's kind of end of the day, like what you're up there to do. Like we have an away trip up next week. We're going up to Syracuse, and most of the team will be doing homework pretty much the entire time we're there, other than like trying to get mentally prepared for the game. Like it's not as easy as it definitely shakes out to be, because you kind of gotta deal with missing class. Your professors don't really love that you're missing class for a sport.
Mhm.
Like you gotta stay connected with the lectures. You gotta get caught up on homework. You're also trying to get caught up on sleep. Like there's a lot that goes into traveling that is gonna happen pretty much just naturally. Like I
Mhm.
remember my freshman year, my first kind of road trip, I didn't do any homework. I kind of just messed around, like did the whole walk around the city, try to see all the sights, and then I kind of got back home and I was like, oh no, like I've not done any work. Like I'm in trouble this week.
Wow. Wow. So wow, that traveling aspect is really serious. Man. So I know you mentioned earlier, you just said that you're a chemical engineer major, correct?
Yes, sir.
So you and I both know Notre Dame is a very academic, rigorous school. They demand a lot from us day in and day out. But on top of that, you have the plus of being a collegiate athlete. So how do you balance both being on the soccer team and being a chemical engineer major as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say a lot of it's just time management, just kind of how you can find little windows to do work. Like for me, like during the day, if I can kind of find an hour to in between classes, I grab a quick bite and then sit down, put my headphones on, and try to get as much work done as possible in between classes. And then you get home from practice, you get home from a long day. Like, how can you still just manage to sit down and do your work and just kind of get that done, so you can kind of be done for the day, so you can kind of still take care of yourself mentally and physically,
Mhm,
just as a whole. Like just finding ways to get it done as quick as possible and still being in the routine of being a student athlete, and just kind of taking care of your assignments, your tests, making sure you're not getting too far behind. Yeah.
That's true. So with being a D1 athlete as well and being a collegiate athlete, I'm trying to find my train of thought. Like you're a chemical engineer major, so you're kind of going through it day in and day out, and you also are an athlete, so you kind of may sometimes deal with wins and deal with losses. How do you kind of balance the both to not let your athletic side interfere with your academic side?
That one's tough. That one is definitely a struggle, like in terms of just if you have a tough loss on a Tuesday and you've got class on Wednesday, like you're up all night Tuesday night thinking about, what we could have done right to win the game or like how we could have changed the result. But ultimately, like you kind of just have to try to separate them as much as possible and
Mhm.
just basically like wake up Wednesday morning, like, all right, the game happened last night. That was the game. Now let's take on kind of like our school responsibilities. Let's kind of take care of the academic side of things so we can go train in the afternoon and try to get better and figure out what we can fix going forward and what's going to help us get results.
Mhm. Mhm. That's true. So now that you're kind of in season, what would say like a typical, I would say like a Wednesday or Tuesday will look for you, like with class and practice, with from start to finish. What does that day look for you like?
Yeah, so right now, like it's not. I got lucky being a senior, kind of being on the tail end of engineering. I'm out of all the really tough classes, but I'll kind of wake up 8:30, 9, just get breakfast in, get like kind of ready for the day, go over to the locker room. I like to stretch, just kind of get myself mentally clear and just kind of like wake up a little bit. Just kind of
Mhm.
go stretch around in the locker room, just kind of hang out. It's usually just me in there, so I'm just kind of doing my own thing. And then I got class, and then I'll kind of have a little in between period of classes, just do some homework, try to find a quick bite to eat or something. And then I'll go off to another class and a lab, which will trickle me right into practice time. So it's tough because I kind of my lab ends and practice starts about 15 minutes later, so I gotta basically strap my backpack on as tight as possible and sprint across campus
Yeah, because it's
just so I'm not late to practice and make coach mad.
oh man, on the go 24/7. So with soccer, it's playoff time, playoff period. Now it's go get it. And last year, the Notre Dame men's soccer team, we made it to the national championship and played against Clemson. So, and unfortunately, though, we lost in the national championship. So, could you just talk a little bit on just mentally before the game, how you all and how you personally prepare for the game, but also just after the game, taking that loss and just handling it as a team, but also for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like for a game like that, it's pretty easy to get up for. Like it's you can kind of wake up, you're like, wow, we really have a national championship to play for tonight. So I would say like that kind of day, like I just remember there being so much energy across the team. Like guys were just so excited to get out there and really show that we're a great team and like we can be great. And like obviously, result didn't fall the way we wanted to, but the big thing for us was kind of using that loss to fuel our off season and to fuel kind of the development of the team and of the players. Like I know for us, like we play Clemson this Friday, and that game has been circled on at least my calendar since last December, since we found out that like when we were going to play them next.
Mhm.
Like, and it's just is tough, and it's kind of those types of losses are really hard, just because like it's for the older guys. Like some of them, it's their last chance to ever play soccer, like organized wise, and it's the end of their like true career as an athlete. So you kind of have to prepare yourself to just basically get up for anything and kind of use the like kind of the unfortunate result as fuel almost.
Mhm.
And I would say like we definitely use that game in particular and just kind of that end of the season, that bitter taste in our mouth, just to kind of push ourselves into the spring, into the summer, prepping into this year, and just kind of get going this year because we have another great team that we think could do some pretty awesome things too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Of course, of course. So now that you're a senior, you've been here at Notre Dame for 4 years, been on the soccer team for 4 years. Has there, outside of that Clemson game last year, has there ever been a certain practice, a game, or just moment where you were kind of going through it mentally, or you weren't yourself? And if so, how were you able to kind of pull yourself out of that hole?
Yeah, so I've struggled a decent amount with injuries. I've had two surgeries on my feet in my time here, and it's really tough mentally just trying to deal with being sidelined. Like obviously, I came here to play soccer, and then not being able to play for 6 to 9 months is always really hard. So you're just kind
Mhm.
of stuck on the side watching. Like wishing like you could be out there getting better. But I think what really helped me pull myself out of those situations was like my teammates, my family, my coaches, like just kind of leaning on your loved ones. Like I know particular my class of soccer players is just super close, and like I know I can go to them with pretty much anything. And like I know I've got a really tight relationship with my family that they've quite literally traveled states just to make sure that I'm okay mentally and just kind of make sure that I can kind of pull myself out of something if I'm really struggling. So I think for me, it was big to just continuously lean on kind of like loved ones, just
Mhm.
people that care about you because they ultimately, everyone wants to see you do the best that you can.
That's true. That's true. So, what advice would you give to any athletes currently watching or listening to this who are dealing with an injury and are sidelined or in the same position as you? What's some advice or like words of affirmation that you would kind of give to them to like pull them out of that hole as well?
Yeah, I kind of found this quote. It's from Gordon Ramsay, surprisingly. It's always gonna storm. You just gotta learn to dance in the rain. So it's kind
Mhm,
of like if a bad moment comes, if a bad time period comes, you're struggling in school, practice, injury, girlfriend, whatever, like how can you kind of deal with that? How can you just continue to be yourself, I guess?
mhm, Gordon Ramsay, I get that. He's cooking it on and off the cliff.
Yeah.
So now that you're a senior, you're getting ready to graduate soon from the University of Notre Dame. Is soccer what is the next step for you with soccer? Do you want to take it to the next level, or do you want to continue with your major within chemical engineering, or are you just kind of going by with God and by your faith? What is that route that you're thinking about?
I think for me, I feel like my time with soccer is drawing to a close.
Mhm,
I think I'm very interested in where chemical engineering is taking me. I think one facet that interests me a lot is kind of oil and kind of like the new ways that we can create more sustainable energy and kind of creating a cleaner world almost. That's kind of definitely drawn my attention in the last couple of years. And I also like I understand to a certain extent that there comes a time for everyone to hang them up and call it a career, and I would say I'm pretty happy with how my career's gone and kind of just enjoyed being an athlete, and I think I was incredibly blessed to do so I'm not going to take anything for granted.
That's good. That's good. At least you have an idea of wanting to change the world and make it a better place. I respect that. You can't do nothing but respect that. I respect that. So
Thank
one
you.
final question, Liam, before we wrap things up. What advice would you give to our listeners and viewers on their mental health journey?
It's always okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. I would say kind of every single day, if you're struggling mentally, like every single day is a new opportunity. I would say it can be tough, and I know it's easier said than done, but like how can you just kind of pull yourself up every single day and try to tackle the world with as much of a smile on your face as you can and just like trying to continue to be yourself. So I know that's what helped me out a lot, and I think that has the possibility to help everyone else out.
Mm, that is amazing, amazing. Well, Regis recipients, you heard it from Liam right here. Liam, thank you again for joining us on this episode of Regis Reflections. I wish you and the rest of the soccer team a great season ahead, safety and prosperity for the rest of the season. So thank you for that. Any last words?
No, sir. Thank you for having me. It's been awesome.
Thank you, thank you. Regis recipients, remember, it's okay to not be okay. You matter. It's your boy JD, and I'm out.